Well, welcome to the Mike in the Mountain. I wanted to do a special 9/11 version of the Mike in the Mountain. I'm Brian Gary.
Scott Cisco.
And we've got James working controls back there. But I couldn't let this day go by without talking about 9/11 for a little bit. Today is the 19th anniversary. It was 19 years ago today.
19 years ago.
Doesn't that seem in a bit hard to believe that it was that long ago in history? It was 2001.
Yeah, but I wonder if it's because we weren't there and in it that, to me, man, it's still so fresh. It was like it was just last year, man.
Well, it is to me too, because I can so remember, and I think we all can remember the timeline of that day, what you were doing, what was going on. As we think back 19 years ago today, James, just, I'm curious now, we'll start with you. Do you remember where you were when it happened?
We were having a breakfast meeting.
Okay.
I thought it was end of days for me.
Yeah, so you were getting fired, yeah. Which everybody who knows, if you're in corporate America and you get called for a breakfast meeting, it means you're getting fired. Right. Because Scott called me for a breakfast meeting the other day, and I turned to my wife, I go, "Oh crap, we have a breakfast meeting." She goes, "You're getting fired." And I'm like, but it didn't work out that way. But so you were at a breakfast meeting?
We were. It was a newly started business, sign business that we were a part of, and I remember being there. In the owner's house, man, and it was on the news, and the hush that fell throughout everybody. I mean, there was maybe half a dozen of us just watching on the TV like, what do we do? I mean,
just
it was the
numb.
most hopeless, like, okay, man, if somebody's targeted the Twin Towers, like, what could be next? What do you do, man?
It opened up a realm of thinking we've never had to go into before.
No,
we as a nation have never seen anything like that.
No, and every single emotion you could imagine was pulsating through me at the same time. Just absolute. It's kind of like the earthquakes, man. When an earthquake hits and it's shaking your equilibrium, there ain't a whole lot.
That's a good analogy.
You can do. It's out of our control. It's the force majeure that we rely on our contracts. That is it's not an accident. When it happens, dude, it's I'm kind of lost for words.
Well, yeah, you were at a loss because it feels like a force of nature. It wasn't. It was an act of man.
Right. Well,
that
totally.
did it, and that just it hit us in a way we had never felt before. James, I'm wondering about you. How old were you? Do you remember when 9/11 hit?
Yeah, I think I was about like 11, 12 years old, and recall it being in middle school and stuff. And even though being young at that age, to register the facial expression of my teacher's face during that time, because the whole school just threw the news on. And, you got that TV in the corner that has, like, the public stations and stuff like that. I think it was, like, 9 News or 7 News and stuff like that. And we just see the situation going down, unfold and stuff. And then I do recall watching the second collapse, or the collapse of the second tower happening and stuff. And at that moment, the teacher just shuts down the TV and stuff, and then tries to go on with her day. And even though again, being a young kid, it's the one thing I remember is her facial expression of what was going down. And then talking with my parents of like, did you guys hear on the news what's happening? And parents were just like, yeah, no, it's some serious stuff in New York that's just unheard of.
So your dad was military though, and still is.
He wasn't active during the time.
He wasn't active.
No,
okay.
no. He was, but he was always a civilian contract to military.
So there had to be some type of call out to him.
At that age, I can't remember, to be quite honest. Okay. Yeah, I can't remember. Okay. All I know is just it was being in high school, or not high school, middle school and stuff like that. It's just the thing that just ingrained in my mind is just the teacher's expression of just like you, even as a kid, it's just you realize how serious the situation was, that this was happening in our homeland. Obviously, over the years, I began to process, the true meaning of what happened in our own lands. To have something like that happen to an everyday thing, just flying on a plane.
I was really interested to hear your perspective, coming from that age, being younger, and what it was like in school, and just I think the vision that you just put into my head of the expression on your teacher is just really powerful. That it said so much that stuck with you for 19 years. You still
to this
can,
day
can picture that. I remember I was on the radio, and I got a phone call from a friend of mine named Rob, and he said, "You need to turn on the TV. Something just happened at the First Trade Center building." And he said a plane flew into it. Immediately, we're like, well, that had to be some kind of, it was an aviation mishap. It was something. How does somebody get that off course or something? The last thing you thought was, I had no thoughts of terrorist attack immediately. No. It didn't hit, but that was at our time here. That was 6:46 a.m. Okay, and I can remember that phone call, and then we turned on and we could see the smoke coming. And we started shifting gears a little bit, just trying to figure out what was going on. And then, we went back into music, said this was happening, we'll keep our eye on it. And then 7:03, not even barely 15 minutes later, boom, they hit the second building. Everything changed for me. I faced something as a broadcaster I had never encountered before, and that was covering an on-the-spot news story. Right. This was developing as we were going on, and then it starts hitting your head when the second one does. Oh, this is a terrorist act.
Right.
This is somebody attacking our country, and you barely get through that, and then 737 rolls around and they hit the Pentagon.
Right.
Then another plane goes there. That feeling that came over us as a country of, Toby Keith said it, taking a shot in the eye, is what we took a kick to the groin like we had never felt before, had never felt anything like that. But what happened through that was one of the most beautiful things I have ever experienced in my time on this planet. During the worst of situations, when we were facing something we had never seen or experienced before, we banded together so tightly as a nation. We were brought together because somebody was threatening us, and we became one like I have never felt unity in this country in my lifetime. Right. It was it's such a horrible thing to happen, to have such a beautiful thing occur, to have everyone united as one. People who normally were not getting along were suddenly helping each other out and being friends because we were all for one cause, and that was we were under attack and we were united we stand. One of the most vivid memories for me was 2 days later on the 13th of September, 2 days after 9/11 happened. We went out and we sat up in front of King Superstores to broadcast, and we had a collection jar to raise money for I'm sure it was for the Red Cross who were fighting at that, who were, bringing aid at that time. Mm-hmm. We were raising money to help the victims of 9/11. We raised so much money that day. It was incredible. But what got me is I had the DJ back at the radio station play the national anthem.
Right.
All right. I'm standing in that parking lot, and the anthem starts to play, and I put my hand on my heart, and I'm feeling it because, man, when you heard the anthem, then you felt it. In fact, I get goosebumps thinking about it. It went through your veins because that was our country. That is our nation. And the anthem played, and people who were walking to their cars with their groceries stopped. They stopped dead in their tracks and listened to the anthem. Yeah. To see this parking lot with people with bags in their hands stopping in the middle of it, setting them down, and putting their hand over their heart. Right. It brought me to tears. It was one of the most beautiful sights because that song brought everyone together, and we were as one under that banner. Well, here we are 19 years later, all those lives lost, all that. And where are we as a nation? To me, I feel we're under attack again, but we're attacking ourselves. We are, what others came and tried to do and could not do was beat the shit out of us and give us a black eye and go away and call themselves the victors. Right. They couldn't do it, but we're doing it to ourselves right now. We are infighting and we are beating the living crap out of each other verbally. We're doing it physically, and it's all us turned on us.
Yeah.
Everyone who united under that red, white, and blue banner 19 years ago and put their hand over their heart and were one. We were one. We are suddenly now broken into so many factions and groups, and we are so far from united right now. My plea is for this one day, for this one day, today on 9/11, for one day, can we just unite as a nation for the day? I'm not asking for miracles here. I'm not. I'm just asking for one day, don't be a Democrat. For one day, don't be a Republican. For one day, don't be a Biden guy. Don't be a Trump guy. For one day, just be a damn American. For one day, put aside the differences. I don't want to see a single post today that refers to anything negative, any name calling, any finger pointing, none of it. For one day, can we take a break and put on the same uniform? Just today. That's all I'm asking. Man, I'd love for this to go on forever. I would love for it to be something that just continues and continues. I'm not naive. I know the situation. I know the climate of the world. But I know we are all powerful enough, understanding enough, and have big enough hearts that for one day we can unite as Americans. Let's just do that. No negativity, no Republican posts, no Democrat posts, no you're a fool if you're this, why can't you believe this, this guy did this. For today, can we just unite? Remember what happened 19 years ago. Remember the lives that were lost. Remember the pain that we felt, but remember the unity that we gained out of it. Let's just try to find that one more time for today.
Amen, man.
For today, for 9/11, make that pledge with me that you are going to do nothing but positivity today. You are not going to feed the fire and fuel the negative.
Right.
So I ask you to pledge that with me. And I don't think there's any better way to wrap this up. I just wanted to come on quickly and just reminisce about 9/11 and just talk about the importance of it and what it means to me. Man, I'm on the board of directors of High Plains Honor Flight, where we honor those men and women who have fought for this country. And we send them on trips to Washington, D.C. to see their memorials and all those things. I have such pride in this country. And under that banner, and I don't care whoever holds the office, it doesn't change the way I feel about that flag.
Right.
And about those who have defended it. So pledge with me today that you are going to just be an American today. Not picking a side, you're just an American. Let's all do that and pledge together. And I think the greatest thing we can do would be to pledge with the Pledge of Allegiance.
Absolutely.
Are you with me on that?
I'm with you on that, man.
So just wherever you are, where you see that American flag, please put your hand over your heart. Look at it and join us as we say the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless you on this 9/11. Be an American.